Faygoluvers.net with the one and only Kevin Gill, one of the best damn sports commentators to date. This is part 2, ninjas.
Do you have a most embarrassing moment to happen to you during any commentary event? Or can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Let me think. To me, anytime I get handed a microphone to say something and the microphone isn't turned on, I hate that shit. It throws me off my whole game. It's amateur hour bullshit. I hate it. And, whenever I get handed a mic that's not working, and then I'm like, hey, what's up, motherfucker? And there's just nothing, and then everyone's looking at you and whatever. So that always sucks whenever that happens. But let me
I
think.
can see that being pretty embarrassing because you're getting ready to go, and everybody's just like staring at you, and there's like crickets in the background.
Yeah, and there's no reaction. I'm trying to think, though, on commentary, I don't know. One time, me and Scott D'Amore were doing commentary on a pay-per-view, and the ring broke, and the ring was broken for like an hour, and we just filled time. We just talked amongst ourselves for an hour to fill the time and it wasn't embarrassing, but it was very challenging. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I have a super embarrassing one. Matt Hardy kind of tried to attack me once when I was doing commentary, and like I jumped out of my chair and fell on my ass for All Pro Wrestling. That was pretty funny. And this wasn't embarrassing. This wasn't embarrassing for me, but the other day I had the opportunity to call a match for Cody Rhodes here, also in San Francisco, for All Pro Wrestling, and he was heading out of the ring to grab his belt, which happened to be on our commentary table. And he was very angry, and he grabbed the belt very angrily. First, he's like, "Where's my belt, you mark?" He screamed at the other commentator, and then the commentator hands him the belt, and then Cody Rhodes takes my Highball energy water and just whips it at the commentator, and is like, "You mark!" So maybe that's one of the funniest things ever. It's not embarrassing, but I'm just trying to think of funny things that happened on commentary.
Well, those works, man. Wow, yeah. It would have been pretty funny to see the Matt Hardy incident.
Yeah, because he started coming up, and this was when he was broken, Matt Hardy. So he starts getting in my face, and I'm like, so the closer he gets to me, just the more I'm moving back because, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to be in his way. But I'm seated at a desk, you know what I mean? So he's in my face. But yeah, once there was no more room for me to go back, I was like, I gotta just keep going. Like, so I had to get out of my chair and the whole deal and fall on my ass. But in the end, I was not bitten and I was not deleted. So I'm grateful.
Hell yeah, man. Now, you've been part of some amazing video games in the past. Grand Theft Auto, Fallout New Vegas, obviously the Backyard Wrestling games, even Sid Meier's Civilization, man. That's crazy. Are there any new upcoming video games you'll be part of in the future that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I made the very unusual life choice of quitting the video game industry to focus 100% on podcasting and wrestling commentary. So,
well, there we go.
We'll see if my tremendous risk pays off, but who knows? Maybe I'll rejoin the video game industry this fall. You never know. But yeah, I've been on a little break from it, just doing this other stuff, but we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm open. That's the thing about KG. I'm not under contract to anyone. I'm a free agent. And I have lots of experience, knowledge, intel, wisdom, and I'm a good team player. Just saying.
Do you have a favorite video game you worked on, in the past?
Let me think.
I know that's a hard answer.
I would say maybe, Grand Theft Auto, just because it's the biggest video game ever. And it's I got the job. Like, I was a fan of Grand Theft Auto before anybody was a fan of fucking Grand Theft Auto when it was a top-down game, overhead perspective. Like Grand Theft Auto 1, not Grand Theft Auto 3, you know what I mean? So I was a fan of Grand Theft Auto 1 when it dropped, and then I got to work on Grand Theft Auto London 1969 and Grand Theft Auto Director's Cut, which was the repackaging of Grand Theft Auto 1 with the London 1969 pack for PlayStation and PC. And that was just crazy to me because you just would think, like, literally a few months ago, I was like trying to get an interview with these people to talk about this game. And then now I work here and they're like, what should the tagline be for the game? And then I would make up like what it says on the back of the box. And, present ideas for the cover and get to go market and brand these games and work with development. And I even got to do testing, like, because Rockstar was such a small company then that you would work your regular, 10 or 12 hour day on the marketing and branding side. Then you would sit down and do quality assurance, trying to find bugs in the game, trying to crash the games at these crucial points in development. So Grand Theft Auto is always going to be fond with me. But all the way on the flip side, Saints Row 4, being a voice in that was incredible, and I loved the game so much. And my only work on it was my voice work, really. I worked behind the scenes on something else, but it wasn't like a regular video game where you work on it for like a year or 2 years, and sometimes when it comes out, you're tired of it. You don't want to, it's been your whole life for 2 years. You're done with it as everyone else starts to get interested in it. So Saints Row, I was still super interested in when it came out, But, I mean, Backyard Wrestling would be in there too. 25 to Life was a lot of fun to work on. I got to work with a lot of good people, man, both at Rockstar and IDOS and other places. So who knows, man? I personally think that my friends over at 2K Games should be bringing me in to work on the WWE games. They actually called me to do that last year, but let's just say it didn't pan out. But I am still available.
Oh, man, that would be great, man.
Yeah, dude, when I got that call, I was like, this is it. I felt the same way like when Rockstar called me or when ICP put me on commentary. I was like, here it is. I'm back in the mix working on the WWE video games. But, hey, everything's for a reason, you know what I mean? And at the very least, if every week I just get to drop interviews and flavor for the world to listen to and appreciate and spread the word of positive mental attitude and all that, well, I'll just keep plugging away. But you know what I'm saying? You never know what the future holds.
True story, man. Now, you've had some awesome wrestlers and musicians on the Kevin Gill Show. Which music artists and wrestlers would you love to interview that you haven't had the chance yet, but you want them to appear?
Axl Rose, Chuck D, Lou from Sick of It All. Let me think. There's a bunch of musicians I would love to have on. I'd love to talk to Tim from Rancid, Tim Armstrong. I'd love to talk to Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day about the old days. On the wrestling side, man, wrestling, I feel like my number one request is I'd love to interview Paul Heyman. He's not a wrestler anymore, but if he was a wrestler or if UFC would grant me an interview or whatever, I would love to interview CM Punk. And, I mean, there's so many great wrestlers in WWE and New Japan and Lucha Underground. I'd love to interview Kenny Omega. Those are just a few, but I mean, I've gotten to interview some of my all-time favorite wrestlers and stuff already as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd also love to interview Ad Rock or Mike D from the Beastie Boys.
Though that would be great too, man. Great answers there, man. Wow. Hopefully you get all of them, to be honest with you.
That would be the bomb.
Now
Kenny Omega is very responsive to tweets, so if a bunch of people tweeted him, I think his name is it Kenny Omega? Or no, is it Omega Man? Let me look it up. I'll just plug it right here. Maybe we can get him to do it. Hold on. Omega Man X. I have his Twitter name in my head, but yeah, his Twitter name is @Kenny Omega Man X. Like OMEGAMANX. So tweet Kenny Omega and let him know you want to hear him on the Kevin Gill Show.
Yeah, do that, fellow Juggalos, Juggalettes, listening. Let's talk about why you and Insane's Clown Posse's friendship has been so well and why it will continue to keep growing.
Well, I feel like they're just great guys, and they've done nothing but extend a hand of friendship and brotherhood to me. They've always been my friend. Other people seem to come and go, or only are friends with you as long as they can use you for something or get something out of you or whatever it might be. And they just kind of I love what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I love being connected and being part of the world. And in good times or in bad. When I've had been in a bad state of mind or whatever, and those guys have been there for me. And conversely, I'm here for anything that I could do for them, for their families. One time, I never told the story before, but one time,
exclusive.
Exclusive. One time, Violent JJ's, what's that game? Minecraft. right? Is it Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft.
His Minecraft. Oh no, I know what it was. It was. All right. But yes, he loved Minecraft, but I'm thinking of Grand Theft Auto. He was playing Grand Theft Auto online, and he had racked up like just insane bankrolls of money and weapons and all the stuff. And then something happened, and he got like blocked from the game by someone who worked at Rockstar, allegedly. I don't know that. That's how he tells it. You know what I mean? But someone in the game, like, because you could talk to each other, told him like, "Stop killing me, like I work at Rockstar." And that sounds like a pretty lame. That's what anybody would say in a game who's getting their ass beat. Like, I've never heard of that before. "Stop killing me, I work at Rockstar." so JJ just kept killing the dude, and then literally all JJ's money and status, everything just disappeared from the game while he was playing it. Like, the person like took away all his abilities and stuff. And JJ was bummed out, and he put in the call to Dad, who put in the call to KG, and I didn't know if I could get anything done. And I can't probably never do a favor like this for anyone ever again, just saying. But through a friend and of a friend and all that, I was able to get all of his stuff restored to his account in Grand Theft Auto on PlayStation. How insane is that?
I know. I bet you the dude, whoever he, Rockstar, like, "Yo, that was an insane Clown Posse's son, bro. That was Violent J's son."
I just can't believe what blows my mind, though, is that someone would take away his status and money in the game vindictively. That seems crazy to me, because it takes, weeks and weeks to build the stuff up. And if he's just killing you, deal with it. You don't go snitching.
Retaliate back in the game. Get some, you can recruit other people.
You got to keep it in the game world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least he didn't do some swatting shit. Like, that shit's insane. Any advice you'd like to give to people who want to jump into the entertainment field of doing commentary?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's like there's a lot of places you can go, like Full Sail University and all these places that teach broadcasting and all that. But then also that means every year thousands and thousands and thousands of graduates are coming out of broadcasting school. And wrestling can be a really tough business to get into. And on the independents, the earning a living on the independents can be very challenging. There's obviously really good money in the really big companies, but, there's a reason that Michael Cole has been in WWE as long as he has, or JR when he was on it, when he did his run there, and now he's back. But you know what I'm saying? So to me, if you're really into it, you have to just really get good at it. You have to master your craft. Don't be afraid to just put your nose to the grindstone, and don't expect to get a lot of results or a lot of props quickly, and just try to climb the ladder as best you can. Network, make connections. And the most important thing I found is always live up to your word. If you tell someone you're going to be there, you have to be there. Like, that's the line that's drawn with me. Sometimes I'll be booking someone for an event, and like the day of the show, something you might book them weeks in advance, and the day of the show, they call you with some like grammar school type excuse, like, "Oh, my girlfriend forgot that I'm supposed to pick up her friend at the airport today, so now I'm not coming." Like, that type of shit happens, and it's so ridiculous. Like, when the call comes, you take it. I had another case where we had a last-minute substitution, and we needed a ring announcer. So I contacted someone, and I'm like, "Hey, so-and-so said you're a ring announcer. Are you available tomorrow night?" "Yes." I'm like, "Okay, can I call you?" And I'm like, "Now's not a good time. Like, it's tomorrow night. It's 7 o'clock. It's at this place. It's this event. Boom, boom, boom. I'll get you some more information, but that's the basics. Can you commit to doing it?" "Well, I need to talk to you." And it's like, honestly, you're a young, meaning green, not experienced ring announcer. Someone from a company that's bigger than anything you've ever worked for is calling you and saying, "Be here at 5 o'clock. Just go. All the questions are going to be answered." Do you know what I mean? And sometimes people then put up a wall of bullshit that blocks them from moving forward. So the key to life, I found, is simply yes and. And that's the rule of improv as well. So if I said to you right now, "Hey, you have a good voice. You ever done any radio?" "Yes, and I love doing it." "Yes, and it's my passion." "Yes, and this Saturday I'm hosting an auction." Whatever it is, put your shit out there. You know what I mean? Because no only closes the door. There's a great example. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Ricardo Rodriguez from WWE?
Yes.
He was Alberto Del Rio's personal ring announcer.
Yes.
He was what's known as like a local extra. Like, when WWE comes to town for Raw or SmackDown, they hire local wrestlers in case they need someone for something. They saw him backstage, and someone came up to him and said, "Hey, have you ever done ring announcing before?" "Of course, I do it every weekend." "Really? Do you have a tuxedo?" "Not with me, but I live 20 minutes away and I do." Hold on, we'll be right back." 10 minutes later, they come back and say, "Go get your tuxedo." Meanwhile, this guy doesn't own a fucking tuxedo, nor has he ever done ring announcing. And he rushed out to the store, rented a tuxedo off the rack, like came right back, and then he did that. That was a one-night thing to have that guy have a ring announcer. And then he did it so well, he became a character and toured the world and made a lot of money doing that. All because he didn't say no to what was being offered to him, you know? The questions and all that stuff can be, don't put up barriers to entry. You know what I mean? Then it's like, well, my friends want to go, and then I'm wondering how many of my friends can come in, and, well, hold on though, but dude, be there at 5. What question could you possibly have? You know what I mean? If you can call any performer on the show that's in the main event and say, "Hey, we need you tomorrow at 5. Can you do it?" You can? Boom. Then you as a new person in the business shouldn't have more questions, more issues, and more concerns than someone more experienced than you, you know?
Right. Yeah, man.
And reputation, man. Reputation is such an important thing to keep intact. And that ties back to the whole word thing, you know? Because once you don't show up for something, it takes years or maybe never to ever get that opportunity again.
Exactly, because if you're not showing the motivation or, to be there, then why should they care about you,
100%, man. And there's a lot of people want to be there.
Yeah, that would love that opportunity. And then
no one's bigger than the show. A lot of people get caught up very quickly. Like the moment they get any attention or get some camera time, their head swells up. They become a different person. They become very full of themselves. If you play yourself out like that, no one's going to want to work with you. No one's going to want to travel with you. The job is the fun part, the performance. The 8 hours in the car, not so much. If you're an asshole, no one wants to be in the car with you or on the bus with you or anywhere with you. And that suddenly you find yourself out of a job or not being called.
Exactly. Those are some very wise wisdom words. Listen to Kevin Gill, folks. I've got a couple more questions. I know we're cutting into a little bit. What motivates you to keep your commentary career from going stale? What motivates you to keep it fresh and exciting?
Well, I think it's easy for me because wrestling is so fresh and so exciting right now. And every week it feels like there's new moves, new ways of doing moves, people pushing things to new limits, the audience appreciating it more and more than they've ever have before, audiences being vocal and louder than they've ever been before, plus an insanely rich tapestry of bizarre shit in the world to call upon and to reference. I feel like I have an unlimited palette to paint with, you know what I mean? Because of the incredible performances, the incredible crowds, and then just this world that we live in. Like there's so much insane shit going on, but then there's so much crossover of ideas and thoughts and cultures. And, I do two kinds of commentary. I do like the, standard stuff that the people watching at home or watching the DVD or watching on the High Spots Wrestling Network get to hear. And then I also do like the over the PA commentary that the whole audience live can hear, and you hear it at home, And when you do it over the PA, it's really cool because you get instant fulfillment. Like if you say something about whatever, Transformers, and everybody laughs, then you're like, all right, these people know what's up with Transformers. Maybe I'll try a Spider-Man line later on or something. And then you do, and they love it. But sometimes you might throw in a Donald Trump joke or something, and there's no reaction at all. And it's like, oh, I must be in a red state. Or they don't like political humor, or they don't get it. But whatever it is, you just know, okay. So it's kind of like you picture like a giant beehive. It's like got a million of those little doors in it. And then you just keep kind of closing the ones that don't get any response. And then by the end of the show, you can have the audience going wild because you felt out what they are responding to, and you're kind of interacting with them organically,
Now, this one's going to put you on the spot a little bit.
So than the Battle Royal question?
I don't know. It might top this one. I'm not sure. But what would you like to accomplish within the next 10 years as Kevin Gill?
Man, I would love to be back on a TV show. That would be pretty awesome. Being on ICP Theater was amazing. And, everything on that show was just improv. We all went off our heads and did all that stuff. And I'd love to be on another show like that. I'd love to be like a Mauro Ranallo, you know what I mean? Who's everywhere and everything. He's calling wrestling. He's hosting talk shows, like doing stuff like that. Like I love wrestling. I love music. I still love video games. So anything that on the low end or whatever, anything that keeps me in the mix with the stuff that I love, and on the high end, it would just be working with the best people on the best products, you know what I mean? And being a valuable contributor, because it's all about that team. It's all about the team, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that. Like a wrestling match, the wrestlers are very important. The referee is super important, which most people don't understand, and the commentators are super important. And that's not just because I am one. A lot of referees and wrestlers don't understand how important the referee or the commentators are, and some commentators don't understand, and on and on. So, just being, when you're on a team where every cylinder on the team is firing, where you have the ref is consummate pro, the commentators on point, ring announcer, super pro, wrestlers, you know what I'm saying, on point. Suddenly, that's the magic, you know what I mean? And when you find that, it's just great to be on a team like that. So I want to just continue to be on teams like that and hopefully just keep reaching bigger and bigger audiences.
There we go, man. Any final shout-outs you'd like to give before ending this interview?
Well, as always, man, I want to shout out Faygoluvers.net for always showing love. They've been a steadfast contributor to the Juggalo scene since before most motherfuckers even had the internet. At least most people, you know what I mean? And they're a great example of people that took their love and passion for something. And think about it. Scotty D and his homies could have sat back and just been like writing comments on other people's posts about your shit sucks, my shit is the real shit. But that doesn't mean anything, you know what I mean? So instead, they built their own thing. They made a platform. They created a place. They kept it updated and technologically proficient and cool. And hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world come to talk and get their news and stuff on there. So they took their love and turned it into something that now gives hundreds of thousands of other people joy. Think of what the 3,000 people who just write dumb hater shit on Facebook, think of what those people could accomplish if they try to do something like Faygoluvers instead of doing something that has no worth. You know what I mean? So I say support Faygoluvers in everything they do. Shout out to the Juggalo Yacht Club. I'm not sure if I mentioned them yet. And shout out to all the Juggalos worldwide, everyone at Psychopathic, and everyone who listens to the Kevin Gill Show, which is super easy to listen to. It's free. You could download it on your phone, your tablet, your computer. You could stream it. You could download it, listen to it whenever you want. And it's just long-form audio interviews. A few years ago, I never listened to a podcast. I was like, who the fuck wants to listen to that? But when you realize it's like, oh, it's a really cool interview that I could listen to while I'm on the train, while I'm on the bus, while I'm cooking, while I'm doing cardio, while I'm cleaning up my apartment or cooking dinner, whatever you're doing, it's just kind of cool to get people's stories in depth, uncut, and with pro sound. So check me out on there and support all the wrestling companies, please, that support me, like Juggalo Championship Wrestling, All Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Revolution, the Underground Wrestling Alliance, Gold Rush Pro Wrestling, and you know, just everyone out there who supports me and shows me love, because it keeps me going and it means a lot to me, you know what I'm saying? So thank you to everybody who takes the time, and thank you to everyone who listened to this mammoth, hopefully 2-part interview.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you taking time out of your day, man. Thank you.
No doubt, brother. And hey, if I could give you props, thanks so much for following up with me. Your follow-up is what made this interview happen. There's an art to following up. Most people don't do it at all, or some people do send the initial thing, and then a day later be like, fuck you, you phony. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, the art of being polite and just following up, because I'm not the only person who has a lot of stuff to do. And when the shit pops up in the top of your queue again, then you're like, oh, well, let me hit that person back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
man.
Thank you for following up and being a consummate professional and a well-researched interviewer. And you can include this motherfucking shit in the interview.